What's up, people? We are back. A2TP podcast, episode 73. We are back in the building. How y'all doing? Hope y'all doing well. We are doing well, or well enough. Your boy International Walk.
It's your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
And we are back for another episode of A2TP podcast. This is episode 73.
Yes.
For the 72 episodes prior to this, you can catch us on A2TP podcast.com. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Twitter, and Instagram. You can catch us on all them platforms. Let's get to it. How are you?
I am okay. I am okay. Mentally, I am probably a 7 right now. Working, no, I won't lie. Probably a 6, working my way towards a 7, 8, 9, 10. But, you know, I'll be okay.
Okay. Hopefully this podcast helps that work.
Work is probably a 9 right now. Busy, but you know what I thought about the other day? I was saying to Toya, like, I wish I had a job that, like, I woke up like, whoo, let's get this day started, like, to be excited about work. I never feel like that. Do you ever feel like that? Like, excited about work? I mean, once
sometimes
you get
depends on what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah.
It depends on what I'm doing. I was just doing this ceiling in Jersey that was weird and that I never did before. And I was super excited.
I know you like a challenge and new stuff, yeah. I mean, for me, it's just like, once I get into the day, some days, of course, are better than others, but I never feel like, whew, let me get to it. No, but work right now, I'll say it's a 9. You know, it's work, but I'm still in a space of working on, I too am working on a process that is new for me, so that does excite me.
Finances.
Finances are a 10. I have no complaints about finances. Yep, no complaints about finances. I'm good.
Finances are 10. Physicality.
Physically, I probably feel a 8. Yeah, I probably, got to get back to moving, making time, and that's really what it is. Just making time, carving out the time, because 24 hours in a day don't change. So it's just, so you have to change how you use it. And that's what I have to do. But I don't have no aches, no pains, nothing sore, nothing hurting, nothing broken, bone wise or functionality. So I'm happy. Yeah. How are you?
I am okay.
Just okay? No. How are you?
I'm okay.
I love that I still get you with that.
I know it's coming. I just don't be knowing when. And I try to make mine like real predictable. Although I didn't do it that time.
Mentally, how are you?
Mentally, I would probably say I am a 6 also. Yeah, I would say I'm a 6 too. Just stuff on my mind. Yeah, I would say I'm a 6.
I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything that I can do? Or anything you need from me?
Just stay the course.
Okay.
Be kind.
Okay.
Work is probably, I would say, how does work this week? Probably a 8. Because it's a short week, had a long vacation. So, yeah. Finances, I would say about a 9. Went and spent some money today. So that's not a 10.
Well, can I tell the people?
Yeah.
I have been telling him, we are in our new home since February. Y'all, this earring don't want to stay on. It's so pretty, but it doesn't want to stay. So I've been telling him since before we moved that one of our televisions, it was our living room television, that it had went. Like, it had these spots on it, and you really couldn't see it unless you were watching TV in the dark. But I'm like, that ain't supposed to be there. And I remember one night we were watching something, and it kind of aligned. And okay, so it was that, if you know Ozark, the cinematography is very dark anyway, but it kind of aligned with the sky. Like, is that stars or something? And I'm like, no, the TV is going. There's spots in it. Fast forward from that time until now. last night the TV went. Well, the TV ended up being our bedroom TV because we got a larger living room TV when we moved. The TV went, but I had been telling him this for months. I knew it was going, but I'm happy.
We got 4 years out of it. It don't cost nothing.
Yeah, it was a good TV.
I wasn't mad about like it broke. Oh my God, I gotta go get a TV. It was just like, oh shit,
right,
I'm gonna go get a TV tonight.
Right.
So not a big deal.
Yeah. So okay, that was finances. How are you physically?
Physically, I feel good. I don't hurt nowhere. My body is good. Yeah, I feel good. Other than a little sadness, I feel good.
Okay.
Wows and woes. You go first?
You can go first.
A wow of this week was, ooh, daddy. We went to the fucking Gervonta Davis fight, and that shit was. Yes. If you ever been to a live fight, especially not like a chin jack fight, not like a Blue Moon fight or some amateurs fighting, but a live prize fight, like professionals. Gervonta Davis punched this dude upside the head so damn hard. Like it was, the whole atmosphere was just, it was just nice. It was more than what I expected. Yeah. And it was so loud and so live. The only thing loud that I've been to like that is wrestling. We used to be WWE fans. We went to wrestling before, and that was loud like that. But ridiculous. Gervonta Davis was amazing. We sat in there when it was nobody in the stadium and watched fights. We saw 10 fights or 8, something like that, and it was amazing. And then when he fought at 12:45, 1 o'clock in the morning, it was just off the chain. Yeah. But the downside is kicked off with the Is this your woe or this? Okay. This is the woe tied into the wow. But the Barclays Center is the Barclays Center. Now, obviously, they don't do fights at Atlantic City no more because the venue's small. They just can go right up the turnpike to 295 and go to the Barclays Center. But the Barclays Center is in Brooklyn, in the hood part of Brooklyn, not the gentrified part, the hood part. So when they let you out the Barclays Center, and I think it was something like 19,807 people, I'm talking on the street, not like in a parking lot. You are on the street. The sea of people at 1:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's from Baltimore. So it was half Baltimore, half Brooklyn, and niggas Philadelphia. It was people everywhere. I'm talking about not older crowd, not like conservative crowd. I'm talking about rowdy. But it was
like our 30s, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but like when you hit rowdy. The streets, it was like, damn,
like a classy hood crowd.
Yeah, it was. But when you come out that Barclays Center, there ain't no parking lot. You right there on the street, on the avenue, and it's every man for themselves. Then we start walking. We get about a block away, and the shots rang out. One person start running, the whole damn crowd start running. This is the first time me and my wife ever been out somewhere and had to get on some duck and dodge shit. Yes. Like,
and in our 40s.
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning. It's about to go down.
Ducky dark block.
Yeah, and it's like, thank God she didn't have on heels. And it was like, okay, let's just get close to the wall and let's just get ahead of these people. Because number one, we don't want to get shot. Number two, we don't want to fall and get trampled. And we had to get as far away from the Barclays Center as possible, call an Uber, and make it back to the hotel. Right. But aside from that little 15 minutes of, damn, I wish I had a gun. Like, I need some protection out here. It was a great night. Great night. I would do it again. And I want to go to another boxing match, but I want to go in Vegas, where it's like, okay, you let me out, and I go right downstairs to the MGM Grand, my hotel, and I'm good. Yeah. But it was, so that's my wows and woes.
I'm going to piggyback off of you. The wow was definitely, it wasn't just a fight, but for me, it was my husband surprising me, taking that initiative. I'm sorry, y'all. I think it's allergies. Like, stuff is itching my nose. We do a boogie check before the show, so it ain't nothing in it, but but my husband surprising me, like, one of them, book us a room, pack a bag, I got plans for us. And, I knew we was going to New York. Didn't know exactly what the plans were, but it was an awesome time. I will say this, we enjoy live entertainment, like, anyway. Mm-hmm. Concerts, comedy shows, like that's our thing. Dating is our thing, but that's our thing. That's some of our favorite dates. This was my first fight, our first fight. You've been to like a rinky dink. I remember
I've
you
been
went
to a
like
rinky dink fight,
yeah,
but I haven't
not
been to no championship fight.
This was our first fight, and we didn't know the process, so it told you it started at 6, but from 6 to 9 was like, they weren't the undercard fights that you see on TV. These were like undercard fight. You know, like how you have off Broadway plays and you have off Broadway plays. These was like the undercard, and it was 6 of them. Some of them was only 4 rounds, some was 6 rounds. They just weren't that good, but you know, we were there for the whole experience. Like he said, we seen it fill up. The undercard fights were good. Laura and O'Sullivan was a great fight.
Yep.
And then the main event, it was just, I was happy that, you know how sometimes people are at events and they're recording so much, like you end up watching on your phone or something. I'm not that person, and I didn't want to do that. Even though I wanted to get some footage, I wanted to see a knockout in real life. And I'm happy I saw a knockout in real life. Like, I seen him hit him. I seen a guy fall into the rope. Like, I saw it all, and it was a great experience. There was one little rowdy moment. These big grown behind men was fighting in front of us in the crowd. But other than that, like, you know, it was no...
The first round.
Yeah, the first round. Like, the fight started, and literally these men, and I'm talking about big dudes, like, you just seen throwing blows. But yeah, so other than that, nothing craziness happened in the inside. You know, everybody was... It was good. It was a good time. It was really a good time. I enjoyed myself tremendously. I enjoyed the entire weekend. So thank you again, husband. I enjoyed myself. The fight was awesome. I will also piggyback on your woe. Not since I was 18 years old, coming out the after hour at 51st and Lancaster, have I had to run from gunshots.
Mm-hmm.
Run in a like I was, and I wasn't in the moment. Was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening right now. At 41, here I am running in Brooklyn to get away from some ratchetry. I'm going to make that word up.
Yeah, I'll let you
That
go.
was like the whoa for me, like, whoa. Like, all
We've
that
never
excitement.
been in that situation before.
All that excitement, all the flyness, because you had people in there with their Sunday's best on. Which, ladies, I don't get that, but, you know, to each their own. You had people with their Sunday's best on, looking top-notch, $1 million rich.
Jewelry all on.
Get outside, it was like we was in the hood. Like we was in the hood, and it was hood activities, and it was, babe, like, let's go. Put your jog on, let's go. We running, turned on the block. We seen everybody going that way. We turned on this block, and it was probably like 4 or 5 other people on the block, but it wasn't 4 or 5,000. We turned on the block, so that was like the whoa, like, I can't believe we doing this, but it was a great experience. Had a great weekend. The fight was awesome. I'm looking forward to future fights. Yeah. Like, I hope they hold up to, you know, that experience.
It was the hype, like, because everybody there was for Tank. And it was like Tank beat his ass, knock him out, and Tank came out and lived up to the hype. And it's crazy because he was playing a song called damn, I forget the name of it that quick.
It's with Fivio, I think you said Fabio Farn, Kanye West, and Alicia Keys.
Yeah, it's called City of Gods.
Yes.
And the lyrics was, Brooklyn, please be easy on me tonight. No, New York, please be easy on me tonight. And I kept hearing it play and play and play. But the sound, like, just the loudness in it, it was insane. Like, if you ever get a chance to go to a fight, Barclays Center, Las Vegas, go. Because you ain't going to regret it. Like, live boxing on TV is great. Yeah. But live boxing, hearing them punches, hearing the gloves, seeing people melt, boom, like, it was unbelievable. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
And I'm happy that it was, you know, a definitive fight and not like it just went the length and then a decision. Like, it was good. Even the fight, the Laura O'Sullivan fight before that was good. Then the fight before that, Melendez Alvarez, I think, that went to decision. But yeah, I'm happy that it was definitive. And you're right, because when we went to see, like he said, wrestling probably 20 years ago, we were huge wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. We went to see it, and it ruined it because it was so awesome in person. We couldn't watch it on TV anymore. It was like this, like it was so awesome in person. The loudest, like the loudness at the fight was similar to like a concert because it was like similar
But
to a
even
concert.
louder. It's three things that I've been to. Once when I was a kid, I've been to monster trucks and they put the microphones on the engines. That's loud. Wrestling and boxing. And I've been to football games. I've been to basketball games, baseball games. They're not as loud as these events.
Yeah, but WWE was the loudest thing to me that I recall because I remember it got so loud that it got
silent.
quiet.
Yeah.
It was like the noise reached a peak of like it just was like toned out. That was, and I remember feeling like whoa, like it was like the noise was moving you. So this would be after that.
That's probably one of them situations. If you lock your legs, you pass out.
Yeah.
Like if you just locked your knees, you
I wouldn't doubt it because it was the noise kind of made you dizzy.
So that was a great weekend, a great event. Appreciate your company.
I appreciate you having me.
We had a good time and hopefully a lot more to come. Mommy and Daddy Dearest Part 2. We had lots of views on this episode looking back. So this is obviously part 2 of that. And we said in part 1 that there may be a part 2. So this is just a pickup from that. So let's get right into the questions. And you don't have to state the obvious if you don't want to, but what would you relive or remove from your life?
Relive or remove. I would, relive or remove. I would remove, it's very weird to say because my immediate obvious response was going to be being a victim of sexual abuse. However, it's almost like one of them things as like a butterfly effect. I know because of that part of my life, I feel like because of that part of my life, it has made me so much more vigilant in how I love and care for the children in our life. And I don't know who I would be. I don't know how. I don't know if I would still be that person had that not happened to me. So almost like a sacrificial lamb to be able to take care of them in a better way. But if I knew that I could still protect and love them, then that would definitely, that would definitely be it. If I could relive, I would want to relive my high school years. Like if I could relive that and just do better. Just do better to better position myself in life. And again, I don't have any regrets because it had to happen that way. And when I think about where my life is now, I'm extremely grateful to be sitting here next to you. But and we talking about childhood, right? Okay, so I would say that I would think I would relive my high school years. I know that I had the capability of being, an A student, but I graduated a C student. Like literally, I think I was like right there, like in the middle of, the 300 or whatever graduates it was. But I know it's because of me not giving my all. So I think that's what I would relive.
Mine is kind of the same. It's like weird because we think alike.
Wow.
Because it's like, I wish the morning that I got myself into trouble, I would have not came outside and did what I did.
Wow. Do you remember that day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vividly. And I wish that it didn't. I wish that I had more willpower and discipline not to do that. But it's almost like the butterfly effect because that particular day made me the person that I'm sitting here today. And I don't know if I would want to change that, but that's what first comes to my mind as far as removing something. Relive, I think I would want to relive my high school years. I don't think I gave myself a fair chance in high school, like to experience everything that high school had to offer as far as education, friends, the prom, graduation, like all that kind of stuff that just about everybody you run into has a story to talk about that kind of thing. Not everybody, but most people, and you don't. And it's like, damn, like I wish, or just seeing my nephew go on his prime, and it's like, damn, man, like that's some cool shit. Like everybody get a chance to do it, but you fucked it up. Like
I can imagine.
You fucked it up.
Yeah.
And not to blame anybody, that's all on me. But right off the bat, if I could relive something, it would be my high school years and give myself a fair chance, a better chance. Because again, just like you, I was a good student. I just didn't apply myself.
Right.
Like, I wanted to be in the street and do dumb shit. So I obviously could go right, but I purposely went left.
Yeah, I think my high school years were thwarted because I just wasn't able to experience it in the capacity that my friends could. Like, I wasn't allowed to go to people's houses. I never went to the movies with a friend until I was 18 years old. Like, it was kind of like one of them things that I just wanted to grow up and get not life over with in no kind of suicidal way, but get to the part where I could be out on my own, not really knowing how or what that would look like. I just wanted to get through it. So that's why high school, like you said, I didn't take advantage of the education that I could have received that could have possibly put me in a different position earlier in life. But again, I salute, like, God has been with me throughout it, and I'm here and I don't have any complaints.
Regrets? Like, obviously you've grown now, and in hindsight, the things you have done and been a part of, and not like you're the worst person in the world by far, but we all have done things that we wished we probably wouldn't have done. But is it like, damn, I regret doing that, or no, like I'm okay with it?
The only thing I probably can say I regret, and this is just being completely transparent, is being promiscuous. Like, as an adult, adult woman, I look back at it like I love and respect myself so much, and knowing that I allowed people to have part of me that wasn't deserving, or that probably would be the only thing that I can think of that I probably regret from my childhood. Well, from my earlier years.
Regrets, I would say, not being enough of a leader at a younger age. Not being enough of a leader and being easily, I don't know if it's embellish or influence. Pick either one, but being easily influenced and embellished at a young age to street life and drugs and all kinds of shit like that. Like, I wish I had more information. I had more exposure.
Okay. It's because I remember you've shared some conversations about, like, certain things that you didn't know, like college information and stuff like that, like the fact that you could apply to go to
high school. Like, I didn't know that you could do that, or I didn't give myself the fair chance to know, like, that shit was an opportunity for me, or it was upcoming. Right. It was just, okay, this is high school, it's 9th grade, like, all my friends are here, let's fuck around and do dumb shit. It wasn't like, what can come of this? Yeah. And then I went to Gratz, so it was like going to Eastside High, and it was like, okay, this ain't no either Gratz or Strawberry Mansion. You didn't think you had a chance to do anything, to go to any college.
So do you ever, and I this is probably a rhetorical question, do you ever resent your parents, and I'll say your mom, because I know at that age your dad wasn't around, do you resent your mom for her not having that, or do you extend grace to her because she probably didn't know either?
I guess a little bit of both, and the grace part, I guess, just like it's so new because I'm evolving, but I did for a long time, because I just felt like she didn't teach us, like, I'm not gonna say us, I can't speak for my brothers and them experience because I left and I wasn't around as they came up with their experience. But through my experiences, I wasn't taught anything. And that's the thing. Like, I wish I was taught stuff. Like, my mom was the type of person that was like, you know, don't fucking say that or don't do that. And it's like, well, why? And, you know, like back in our culture, you say why, it's like a curse word.
Yeah,
you know, it's
because
why,
I told
it's
you so.
because
Don't
I
ask
told
me
you
why.
so.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish in those moments she would have broke down why and talked to me and understood, like, okay, you 13, you 14, even though you a boy, I was once 13 and 14 too, and this is how I felt, and this is what I did when those instances came up, when friends wanted to do this and friends wanted to do that. Like, I wish she would have explained her childhood and how she felt at those ages that I was at when I was rebelling and things like that. But instead, or taught me the stuff when I made mistakes. When I made mistakes, it was just, you getting beat, don't fucking do that. And again, if you say why or want any type of explanation, then that's a problem. Like, no, it ain't no fucking explanation. How dare me explain myself to you? You my kid. Right. So, and I wish it was less of that and more teaching.
Yeah. People undervalue the and
not to cut you off. Nowadays, people talk to their kids, and people, you know, talk to their kids and say, look, okay, my kid's 10. I was 10. I know, you know, what you feeling. Like, I understand that. And it kind of helps you bond a little bit and relate to your feelings instead of lashing out and not knowing how to express them. You know, your parent is talking to you about them, and it's like, okay, I have an understanding.
People undervalue, and of course, y'all know I'm not a parent, so I'm just giving my non-parental from the outside looking in opinion. But I think people undervalue being friends with their children. Mm-hmm. Like, when people always say, I'm not, like, you know, our parents, I'm not your little friend, or people will say, you know, I'm not your friend, I'm your, you know, people will post things about like not being your child's friend but being their parent. But I think there is a duality that should be present where they should look at you as a friend, of course, a parent first and foremost. But you learn valuable information, like on trust, and
it teaches them to normalize you and see you other than an authority figure.
Right, because you're not going to always be an authority figure to your child. It makes them
look at you like you're a person, like you went through stuff too, and you was their age too. So it normalizes you to them, other than you're just mom, you're just dad. You tell me what to do.
Right,
because that's going to run out. Like she said, it's going to be a time when you're not that. And if they don't know who you are, if you never told them your experiences in life, then all they know you as
an authority figure.
Yeah, an authority figure.
And when they get to an age where they need your support, your moral support, they need life advice. And sometimes, like, my sisters and I will have a conversation where it'll be like, okay, give me your advice, but not from a protective sister point of view, but as a friend. And I think that kind of relationship as a parent I don't have that in my life, but I think that could be beneficial for people to be able to go to their parents. Like, there may be some times where you could be like, look, mom, look, you know, or for a man, look, dad, like, let me ask your opinion about this. But again, don't look at it like I'm your child and I'm trying to protect you, want to protect me. Give me your advice as a woman. Yeah. You've been in love before. You had your heart broken before. You done been, you know, butterflies over a man before. Give me your advice as a woman from that point of view. But you have to nurture that relationship to allow your child to feel comfortable and trusting you from a younger age with simple stuff. Yep. Like, you know, coming home telling you about little Billy or little Susu.
Stuff at school.
Yeah.
And the second you say, you know, I'm not your friend, what you're telling your kid in essence is, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Because all you're going to do is tell me what to do, and anything that I tell you, you're going to prejudge it and give me your parent perspective. And it's like, that's not always what you need as you're growing, as you're interacting with other kids, other women, other girls, other boys. Like, you need a different perspective. And that's why we attach to our friends so much when we're that age. Because our parents, especially our generation of parents, like, now it's different. Kids get talked to, you know, why you feeling like that, why you lashing out, why you hitting. But when we were small, nah, it's just, don't fucking do that. And if you said why, you might have got hit for that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, don't ask me shit.
Yeah.
You segued into this question. Was your promiscuity a direct reflection of your dad?
yes,
Or
and
was it some shit you take solely responsible? You take sole responsibility for. But when you look back at it, is it like
yes and no? I can say, one, I was exposed to sex too early. Like, I used to sneak and watch porn, and I think,
which is bad.
yeah, I mean that was my fault. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like it was left sprawled about, but the tape was in the VCR and whatever. So that of course, my mind was just exposed too early. Then I think as I became an older teenager, and then especially when I got put out, it was more so like my rebellion against authority, like the things that I knew that I wouldn't, like, he of course wouldn't want me to do. It was like, I'm like, now you can't tell me what to do. In hindsight, who am I hurting but myself? So I would say that in some ways I take accountability for that, but it was because of my rebellion against his extreme authority.
Got you. Was it any reflection of your mom? And I'm just thinking in the sense of like, I'm out here, I'm free, you've been locked down, can't get out of your situation type thing.
I don't think my promiscuity was a reflection of her. I think and this is weird, my femininity or sexuality and like was really evolved and developed based on all the things that she wasn't, or at least that I didn't see in her.
Right.
So it was like I wanted to be this uber sexy person, like nobody can tell me nothing, sassy, like I wanted to be outspoken and all the things that I was in terms of my body, because she never was. So yeah, again, so it's probably like some opposite effect of who she wasn't that drove me to be who I was.
I had some promiscuity when I was a kid. I used to be out there doing, I'm a relationship guy. Like, I like girlfriends. So
right.
And I used to, in between those relationships, I used to be, a bad dude. And I think that I used to do that stuff because it was easy. Like, I didn't have to, try hard.
And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying this jokingly, I'm serious. Is it because you were a handsome young man, so you felt like the girls just came at you?
I didn't feel like that at the time. I'm saying this in hindsight. Like, at the time, I was attracted to a lot of young girls calling me cute and all this kind of stuff.
Don't say girls your age.
Yeah, girls my age.
Yeah.
I'm saying it.
You were talking.
Speaking now.
Yes.
But, girls my age, 14, 15, 16. And, just like just about every girl I was around was like, oh, he cute. And that kind of stuff I was attracted to, the attention. But it's not necessarily, like, me and like, I'm a relationship guy. Like, even when I was younger, I had girlfriends and I liked having a girlfriend. So I didn't necessarily like being in between relationships and, knocking down 6-8 girls before I got with another girlfriend.
Right. Now, you said because, you like the attention. Was you liking the attention a result of, like, you not getting attention from your mom, or was it just a horny little boy getting the attention from a bunch of girls? Or is there any kind of correlation you can make between the distance in you and your mom's relationship and then all these girls?
I think it probably had something to do with that, because she wasn't the type to when we were young to be huggy, kissy, touchy, feely, all that kind of stuff. Like, it was just she was a single parent, so it was like most of the time it was disciplinary stuff that I remember in the way I came up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Again, I was going for Ebony and Rashim and all of them. Wow, I can't believe
and Udi.
Yeah, I did that. But yeah.
Well, I mean, anybody that knows you knows your sibling, so yeah.
Were you generally liked as a kid?
I was. I didn't
Anywhere you went, at home, your grandma's house, your aunt's house, church, school,
yeah, so
the store.
It was it's funny because y'all know I have two, well, you said your siblings' names. I have two sisters, Erica and Sierra. Erica and I are 4.5 years apart, and then Sierra came along when I was 12. Erica was 8. So 8 years with just Erica and I, that was, we were young, but that was a lot of time. So it's funny because we were always known as like the nice one and the mean one. Like Erica, she just had like a more rougher, harder exterior. She just wasn't as friendly and bubbly as I was, I'll say that. And I was my grandmom's first grandchild. So yeah, to that extent, like I never, like, yeah, I was liked. Like I had, friends anywhere I went. I have, made friends, made acquaintances. So I wasn't probably until like my teenage years when, boys and stuff like that, you start having like neighborhood tiffs or whatever. That was always, now that I think about it, any kind of negative situations or like, it was always because of a boy. Like I'm protective of him, and even when I was younger, like anytime I didn't like somebody or got into an argument with a girl or something, it was over a boy. Like I just was always like that. So yeah, I was generally liked. What about you?
I was generally popular. Yes, I was generally liked. I had a few people who didn't like me, but I was generally liked for the most part.
Do you think they just didn't like your personality, or was it some envy or jealousy? I guess that's the same thing.
I would think jealousy. I don't think envy. I can't think like who the fuck wanted to be me.
Right.
But yeah, I would think jealousy. I wouldn't think envy. But who knows? I wish I could ask those people.
Really?
No, not really.
Oh, I was about to say, you can? Because yeah.
What was the nicest / meanest thing your mother ever did to you? One.
You know what? It's funny because I'm not gonna cry. I told y'all on this show I am not gonna cry. But I think back to you go first.
Okay. The nicest thing. She got me welling up. The nicest thing.
All right, I'll go. My prom night, right? So, like I told y'all, my mom and I, we never really had a great relationship. And as a teenager, it was very tumultuous. But it would be little moments in life where, like, she would, like, show up in a way emotional, and they were very few and far between. But, like, wow, I just thought of two things. But anyway, I know. She would just show up in ways that was, I don't know, it left an imprint in my head. So long story short, my prom night, went to prom, and I don't know if they still do this, like go out to a diner or something like that. And I remember one of the girls that I was cool with, she was having like a breakfast thing, like prom is over like 11 o'clock, so it was like at her house, but it was like a dinner party, but it was breakfast, like an after prom thing, and I wasn't allowed to go. Like my dad said I couldn't go. So I think afterwards we might have I remember us going to my prom date's friend house, like just to stop by, say hi, whatever, but I came home shortly after, wasn't out late. And I'll never forget, like my mom, and I probably got home maybe like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'll never forget my mom like coming in the room and just like talking to me. It was just so weird because it just wasn't the personality of her that she showed. It was almost like the only time she ever showed this behavior is like after we had got a beating or something, where she would come in like, you okay, whatever. But this night, after prom, she came and she was like, did you have a good time?
Actually showed that she cared about what your
yeah,
experience.
Like she was asking me about it. Did you have a good time? Did you, like asking me about it. And it wasn't like no long, like, oh, we talked and laughed all night. No, like it literally might have been for like 10 minutes, but just the fact that she did that. Like, I came in late. I remember her like creeping down the hall. She probably was waiting up, and my dad was asleep, so it wasn't like I was in trouble for coming in late or whatever. But that just like always stuck out in my head, because that just was not her to like be that kind of person. And even though my dad was like really strict and we could never do stuff, she would always try to like advocate for us to be able to do stuff, but she just didn't win.
I don't have a nicest thing.
Really?
I don't. So what was the meanest thing?
You mean you? But okay, you're talking about as a kid. The meanest thing I could say, and I'll never forget this. One time, her and my dad was arguing, and it's crazy because she would like take things out on me because of whatever her feelings were. It doesn't even matter, whatever. And I'll never forget, I had you know, y'all remember pagers, like a beeper. And I had her beeper, and she told me to give it to her, whatever. And she was upstairs, I was downstairs, and I tossed it up the steps. Well, we sat down to eat dinner, my dad, my sisters, myself, and she didn't sit down. So when she came downstairs, y'all, she had a cup of juice in her hand and threw it in my face.
Mm.
And that moment,
you grew horns and steam came out your nose.
And I literally remember sitting there at the table and like going to jump up, and my dad like grabbed my hand. I don't know what I was about to do. I think I was about to hit her. I don't know if I would have hit her. You know, y'all can have your own opinions about your own mothers. It is what it is. But yeah, so that's probably it.
Yeah, I don't have a nicest thing, and I would say the meanest thing is say she wish she didn't have me.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess I was a bad kid. What's the nicest thing and the meanest thing your dad ever done?
Wow. Nicest thing, I can't think of any like one nicest thing that he ever did. Like, nothing in my mind like stands out like a nice moment. Like, not to say like he was always some horrible guy, but it was no like
none of those Roma trips to the fucking.
But no, so like what he's talking about, we literally we went to pizza.
Macaroni and cheese for my kids.
To have pizza and cheesesteaks for dinner every Friday for probably the first 15 years of my life, like to the same place, like all the time. Like, so that's what he's talking about. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like that, I can't think of like any. Yeah, that was the norm. I can't.
Trips.
That's probably one thing I can think of, and I don't know if that was him or my mom, but he drove because my mom didn't. But like one day after dinner, that was like a surprise thing that they was, you know, like, come on, you know, hurry up and eat. We got somewhere to go. And after dinner, like one evening, might have been like a Sunday evening or something, they drove to Clementon Park and took us to Clementon Park. Just randomly, and that was like something completely out the blue that they had never done before, and I don't think ever done afterwards. So
the nicest thing my dad's ever done, wow, I remember one time he took me and Gary to the school cook, and we went fishing.
Oh wow.
And he hooked me in the ass with a
fishing hook. Oh, yeah. My goodness!
I was standing too close, and he was throwing the rod out, and it hooked me right in the ass cheek.
How did I never know that?
Yeah. So,
did it hurt?
Yeah, it hurt. Getting it out. You know how fishing hooks are. They don't come out. Like, you gotta rip some shit to get it out.
Oh my God! Did you cry?
No, but it hurt though. And I remember we was at the school, was standing on the raft right there where people sit, and we was fishing. I do remember that.
Wow.
The meanest thing is just probably not show me how to be a man, not show me how to plant a fucking flag on the top of a hill, not show me how to deal with men, not show me how to deal with women. Yeah, just not tell me how he felt when he was my age. Not tell me, not explain to me what I was going through. So that's probably the meanest thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip that on the meanest thing.
Okay. Do you have some of your dad's characteristics?
You know, it's weird because when you say that, I think to myself, I don't know him. I don't know him. I would think probably.
I'm talking about of what you know, not. You know, So
Yeah.
I'm not talking like.
No, I
prior.
know that. Of course. But I'm just thinking like, like as a, I don't know if as a kid you
Like,
really
do you think
know.
you have his meanness? Do you think you have his sense of humor? Do you think you have his street smarts? Do you think you have his his way he thought about things?
That's what I'm saying. As a kid, I don't know if you process that and you really know that.
Okay.
I don't think you really learn who your parents are until you're older to really
talk to them.
Talk to them and observe them from a different perspective. And I think as a kid, you just see them as your parent. So like when you say like his sense of humor, he wasn't like a funny I didn't find him to be a funny person. I guess in the sense of him.
And you're a goofball, so I would think not.
I am the funniest person that he knows. I would say in the sense of like one thing I do remember about him, he always wanted to look his best. And not even in a vain way. Right. Even if it was corny. Like, I'll tell you this about my dad. He never got shape-ups. He thought he just thought you shouldn't mess with your hairline. So he kept a fresh haircut, but never a shape-up. Don't touch the front of his line. So, whatever. His corny gold chains, greased up Vaseline, probably cheap cologne. He always wanted to look his best no matter how corny it is. And I think I probably maybe I get that from him. Like, I don't care about other people's opinion. If I like something, if it costs $10,
you like to get fresh.
Yeah, if it costs $10 or $100, like, I'm my own person, my own style. So maybe I get that from him, I guess. But other than that, I don't really know who he was. Like, I feel like he was a snake, so I don't feel like I'm not
I get it.
Yeah, I'm not a disloyal person. So I don't really know who I mean, he's alive. I don't want to say was like he did, but I don't know.
My answer is I don't know either because he wasn't around, so I don't know if he was. No, you know what? He was funny. Mm-hmm. He was funny. He would joke a lot. So I don't know. I don't know if I would attest my sense of humor to him, but he was funny.
You don't have. I mean, you have a.
He wasn't mean.
Okay.
Like, he wasn't mean. He wasn't. He was obviously, if you did something wrong and it was time to be disciplined, he was disciplined. But he wasn't mean. He wasn't like a come home from work type of just pissed off for no reason type person. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a jovial dude.
Okay.
I remember.
Okay.
So I don't know if I get my sense of humor from him either. He just wasn't around enough for me to pinpoint that.
Yeah.
Same question about your mom.
And you know what? So my sisters and I have said this often, like probably over the last couple years as we've dealt with some turmoil. Like, to this day, like, I don't really know who my mom is, and I feel like that's because she doesn't know who she is. One of the things I think, like, I used to kind of be like her, but for whatever reason, I'm not. Like, I always felt like I was the life of the party. Like, just be not like trying to be. I just like to have fun. And I felt like my mom was like that too, but it was more manufactured and not natural. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't her authentic, genuine self. So, I don't know who she is. Because I don't think she knows who she is. So, I don't think we've ever really seen her authentic self. So, no is my answer.
Okay. What was
her? Do you feel like you are like your mom in some ways?
Fierce, and probably stubborn. I would say.
Okay.
Fierce and stubborn, I would say, because I don't know that to be that of my dad.
Right.
So I do know to be that of her. So I would say, yeah.
So who am I if I'm not like them? I probably just don't know that I'm like them in some ways.
Some people aren't like their parents, and some people find their own way.
You know what I was gonna say?
Some people find their own way. Some people see their parents and don't want to be anything like them, and end up taking pieces from people who come into your life for a season. You know,
I think that's
here, a teacher there, a friend there, a girlfriend's mom. Like you never know who might be in your life that you be like, oh, I like her, I dig her, I would be like her. She would be my friend if I was her age. And be a grown person. Like I see men like that, like, you know, cool dressed men. You see them take care of their family. You're like, damn, that's some cool shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You would admire that. So you just take little pieces along as you go, and that ends up being your makeup. On the surface, I mean, you still have your core values, but on the surface is what I'm talking about. Do you think your dad was smart?
Again, I say this and it feels weird because it's like I lived with him for 18 years.
If you had to give me a yes or no answer.
No.
Do you feel like your mom was smart?
I did. As a kid, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I felt like that about my mom as a kid. I thought, like I said, you know, in part one, I thought she was the smartest person in the world.
Right.
Did I think all her decisions were the best decisions? No. Did I think she lived in her full potential? No. But I did think that, you know, under different circumstances, things could have been different for her. So I do think she was smart.
Right.
Yeah. Did you think your parents were smart?
I think my dad was smart because he was in the military. He was a Marine. So I think, you know, boot camp, training, all that kind of stuff, like you gotta have some type of head for all that kind of shit. Education beyond high school in some capacity, because you know, you getting educated while you're in the military, especially when he went at 18 or 19 or something. My mom, no. My mom never like read books or entertained like education for herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no, like it was just she just lived day by day, and she never like entertained like I'm going to better myself or educate myself a little bit further than what I know and try and do, you know what I mean? And the decision making, no, I don't think she had the best decision making.
Right.
And that's just my experience. Again, there's a second part that I don't know about because I left home early.
Right.
What's one thing as a child you wish you could have done? That you didn't do?
Travel.
As a child?
Well, no, I'm sorry.
You want to pack a suitcase and roll?
No, I thought you meant like with my...
You packing cigarettes and roll, man?
I thought you meant like with my
back then kids could get on a plane back then.
I thought you meant like with my family.
I thought you was about to say like go to the 4th grade dance or some shit.
Oh,
you said
no,
travel.
No. As a child, I wish that that's an interesting question, because I think to myself, like, I was so...
You don't have a memory in your head as a kid? Like, fuck, I didn't get to do that, and everybody else did, and fuck, I got told no.
Oh, I know. I wish I had a chance to go to summer camp, like sleepaway camp.
Okay, for the whole summer or come back?
No, like sleepaway camp, like
so
when you go for like
2 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know some people would. I don't
6,
know
8
how
weeks
it
or
works.
something like that?
I don't know. Yeah, but I know, like, because I remember some girls on our street.
You would have did well there.
You don't think so?
In hindsight, I don't think so.
Really?
What happens at those places, I don't think.
Well, I know there's some. It was so on the street that I grew up on. It was 1, 2, 3 other houses of sisters, and some of them went more frequently than others. I think one house they might have only went 1 year. But the summer used to be so boring when they would go to camp, and like it would just be me, like on the block, like having to wait for them to come back. So I mean, that's just something that I wish that I would have had a chance to experience. Like it just always seemed like a cool thing to do. So
As a kid, what's one thing I wish I could have done? As a kid, I wanted to hang out with Gary.
Oh,
Yeah.
your big brother.
Yeah, I wanted to hang out with Gary. He used to go over his dad's house, and he couldn't wait till that time comes so he could rub it in my fucking face. Like, yeah, we had that type of relationship. Like, you ain't got no pop, I got a pop.
Oh
like,
my God,
I'm going
that's
over my
so
dad's house.
neat.
Yeah, like I'm going over my dad's house, and I used to want to go. And sometimes I would cry and beg my mom and she would make him take me sometimes. And sometimes he was cool about it, and then sometimes I didn't understand then, but I understand now. Like, he wanted his dad
Right.
by himself. So, I didn't get it then. It was just like, why the fuck you don't want me to go? Like, I went last weekend.
Right.
Why the fuck I
Right.
can't go this weekend? But he was, he used to get mad and tell me, like, I used to just want to hang out with him.
Yeah, that was what I would say. Like, I went to, like, day camps and stuff, like, at the POW or whatever, but I always wanted to, like, pack a bag and be gone.
What would you want your dad to do different? One thing.
Wow. I would have wanted him not to be an abuser. Like, just point blank, period. Yeah.
What would you want your mom to do different?
I would have wanted her to stand up for herself, and so that she could have been a better protector for herself and for us.
Yeah. I wish my dad would have made better decisions and not got wrapped up in drugs, and I just wish he talked to me more. Yeah, I wish we had, I don't remember a lot of conversations, and that's what I'm thinking now. Like, I wish I could remember more conversations. Like, as much as I yearn conversation now, it's like I just wish he talked to me more. So I wish he did that different.
Question: Do you know what? I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was about your mom?
I wish she tried to better herself. I wish she would have tried to go further in her life at an earlier age. My mom didn't start working until she was 41 years old. And as far as I know, like, we got food stamps, and I used to ride my bike to my grandmother's house to get food and shit like that. So I just wish that she made better decisions. I wish I wasn't sent to get money from her boyfriends and things like that. Like, I wish I just wasn't exposed to that kind of stuff. And it seemed, again, like I said before, it was easy for me. And I wish at that young of an age, it wasn't.
Question: do you know what the dynamics was with your dad and his dad? Because it seems like to me, like, your dad was he was physically present during the time that he was, but that was really it. Like, he didn't know how to be. Like, he wasn't a bad dad in terms of being mean or anything like that, but he just wasn't present, meaning, like, emotionally, there was no engagement is what it appeared. No, y'all went fishing, but I mean, other than that.
Yeah, but that was like a sporadic thing.
Yeah.
Like, almost like I noticed that I haven't been engaged with you in a while.
Right.
So let's go fishing. Like, that type of thing. It wasn't.
But that's what I mean. For the most part, it was no engagement.
And then, when he was getting high, like, him and my mom would get, alcohol and stuff and get drunk on the weekends, and he would always want to play cards. Like, me and Gary, he would always want to play pity pat. Like, I'm talking hundreds of fucking hands of pity pat. He would sit there and want to play for $0.25, $1, and sometimes we would break him, and he would go back upstairs for another hour and come back downstairs with $8 more, and we would play cards again. So those little things I do remember, but at the same time, he was severely drunk and, had a little substance in him. So.
Yeah. But so back to my original question, do you know what the dynamics were was his dad around?
No, I don't know what the dynamics was with him and his dad. I know the dynamics with his mom wasn't that great, but that wasn't my best grandma either. So I didn't really like her at all either. So if he didn't like her as a mom, I don't think I would like her as a grandma. And I probably saw her 5 to 10 times in my life. And just over, I think one time I was over a house, I jumped the poles on the street, being outside, she beat me with a slipper.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, that's it. Nothing, ain't never coming back over here. So yeah, that's that. You good? How you feel?
Um, I have a question. So, what is something? And do you mind if I just add? What is? I know last on part one, I asked you if it was something you wanted to say. If you had to say one thing to your mom and one thing to your dad, what would it be? So I'm going to ask you this time. What is something that? What is the? If you had to name one thing that you needed from your dad as a child, what would it have been?
As a child,
Yeah.
attention.
Okay.
Yeah, presence, attention.
And
Put his arm around me and talk to me and, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What you thinking about? You know, how was school today? Or if I was outside all day, like, or if I came in sad, or, you know, if I was in a fight, like, tell me it's gonna be all right. Like, tell me that's not the end all be all. Like, you know, boys fight. So, yeah, that kind of shit. I just wish you'd talk to me and put an arm around me.
what did you need from your mom?
As a kid, leave me the fuck alone.
What?
Leave me the fuck alone. Like, we had that type of relationship where she just was like,
Do you think it was like her way of trying to protect you but not knowing how to do it effectively?
I don't know. You would have to ask her that. Maybe, probably so, but I just didn't take it well. I was one of those kids that at like 13, 14, I couldn't wait to roll. Like, I couldn't wait to leave. And I had no problem saying it or faking like I did it. I packed a bag once and went to Nana house, like, more than once. Like, you know, I did. And it get dark, and then they're like, you ain't staying here. You better go home and apologize to your mother. Don't put me in that. And I used to be like, damn, man, I'm like, you let me stay here till 8 o'clock, man, I go home. And I used to have
you had to walk back with your bag?
with my duffel bag, and I used to have to go to the fucking laundromat and call, and she would hang up on me first, and I would call back, and she would be like, what? And I'd be like, I'm sorry. Sorry for what? Talking, cursing at you. Like, I used to have to do that to get back in the house, and then she would unlock the door. And that's happened a couple times.
How old were you? Like?
12, 13, 14. Like, I didn't like the rules. I just wanted to go. I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't necessarily want to be a bad boy or be in the street or be a robber or do any of that shit that I did. It was just, I'm not digging it here.
A rebel without a cause.
Yeah. What have you learned this week?
What have I learned?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
I learned Nick Cannon has a baby making problem. That's what I learned. I don't know what the situation is. I never really want to speak on a man's nuts and what he does and with his dick and where he's busting his nuts at, but this is out of control. This is out of control that this dude is having another kid. And I don't give a shit if you Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world. That don't mean have 35 kids just because you can take care of them. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. So that's what I've learned. Previous baby, it was like, damn, bruh. Like, that's a lot, but
This was the icing
this
on the
is
cake.
like, this was the
diaper on the cake.
Yes, it was. This was he has a baby making problem. Like, pull out game trash, condom buying trash.
I don't think he's trying not to. I don't think he's trying to pull out. I don't think he's trying. And the crazy thing is, we know there's so many women in the world, and this ain't no like sad, oh woohoo, pity me moment. But there's so many women in the world who can't have kids, but he sure as hell is finding the ones that can.
Oh my God, it's out of control.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'll say what I learned is to don't overstate your place in people's lives. You know, when people show you who they are, and I can't say I learned this. It's not like it's something I didn't know, but I was reminded, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. Okay. When people show you who they are, believe them. And, you know, don't overstate your place in people's lives, because at the end of the day, you know, people are who they are. And sacrificing yourself for the sake of someone else's feelings, or because you think you're protecting, or you want somebody else not to feel some kind of way. It only puts yourself on the line to be hurt. So
being vulnerable and not knowing your place makes you vulnerable. I'm sorry. Not knowing your place in a relationship makes you vulnerable to be put in your place.
Yeah, I posted that the other day.
That's
know your place so you don't have to be put in it.
Yeah, and that can be difficult.
Yeah. I had 3 valuable lessons over the last few weeks. So yeah,
3 grams, but we only got 2.
Well, Nick was kind of one. Yeah.
Johnny Depp won his defamation suit against Amber Heard. And I know you probably haven't been following this because it's not something that you follow, but I have a little bit. And it's been going on for 3 weeks, every day. And this lady is crazy.
So let me ask this.
She took a shit in his bed.
Yeah, let me ask this because I had been hearing about it, but I never knew what exactly they were in court for. So he was suing her for defamation of character?
They were married. She's an actress too. They were married, and she is a crazy person. And she used to beat him, and she threw a bottle at him and cut the tip of his finger off so hard, across the room. She took a shit in the bed and said the dog did it. Just a bunch of crazy stuff.
Right, but I mean, what was they were in court because he was suing her for defamation of character.
Because she said that he beat the shit out of her.
And I knew he had lost out on some money from Pirates of the Caribbean, or from
lost
Disney.
Out. He got fired.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, lost out in the sense of being cut from.
No more movies. Yeah, he got dropped. Some sponsors dropped him. He lost $100 million.
Wow.
And then he gave her $7 million in a divorce settlement, but she claimed she gave it away, but she didn't. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I had been seeing little snippets. One thing that I heard about it, which I thought was just insane, is that people were paying I don't want to lie. I'm thinking I saw $30,000, or it was tens of thousands of dollars that people were paying for seats in the courtroom. I don't even know who you pay to get a seat in a courtroom.
Judge, somebody at the court.
That's crazy.
Go to the window where you
but
pay
I mean,
your
it's
fines.
free to come in for anybody. So why? That's what I mean.
It's a celebrity. So I guess if you want to be there, I guess if they're doing that for the press and shit like that, your company can pay that much if you want to be in here and cover this.
That's crazy.
Do you like Johnny Depp?
When 21 Jump Street, when I was younger, I had a huge crush on Johnny Depp.
That dude's got range. He does.
Yeah, I think he is a phenomenal actor. Pirates of the Caribbean, however you say it. I saw the first one. Can't say that I kept up with the other. I think it was just 1 or 2 others.
3. There's 3 of them.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't see the second and third one. Snow. That's what it's called, right? Blow. I'm sorry, it's about cocaine.
That's the best movie I've ever seen him do.
Amazing.
Where he's oh man, that's, you got a chance to see Blow. Watch Blow.
Yeah, so I mean,
that
I've always
make you cry though, because his daughter
definitely don't tell the story.
Yeah.
People didn't see it. I definitely think he's a great actor. But when I was younger, I had a huge crush on him when he was in 21 Jump Street.
I like Pirates of the Caribbean 1. And I do like Johnny Depp. I think he's a great actor. And I think he's a calm dude. I mean, he's an older dude. He's like Charlie Sheen. He does his drugs, but he don't bother nobody.
I was not expecting that. You know what? He gives me the vibe. But he gives me the vibe of, and I'm not implying at all that she does drugs, but he gives me the vibe of a male white version of Lisa Bonet.
Okay.
That kind of dirty backpack, earthy kind of person, but just in a white man, with their version of that, rather than a black woman. You know what I mean? That's the kind of vibe he gives me. But yeah.
Last gram, Monique and DL. Thoughts?
The sad thing to me is that things.
Hold on, before you say that,
yes,
you obviously know it was Lee Daniels, it was Oprah, it was Charlamagne, it was Netflix. Is it her, or is it all those people?
Well, I definitely think that when you are the common denominator in constantly having turmoil and some sort of strife,
with everybody,
people can say that it's because she's not getting a fair shot as a black woman, so that's why it's consistently her. But also I think we have to be realistic and look at it like this. She was presenting one document as her performance contract. DL Hughley was presenting his document, which she was saying was just a memorandum, was not the finalized contract. Long story short, whatever the issue was, I don't know how, like, why wouldn't you take that out? Like DL was saying, with the promoter. So my thing is, if I'm booked for a show and they say, you're going to get the most money, you're going to be the headliner, so you'll be the last to perform, and then I show up and I'm not getting the most money, I'm not the headliner, I'm not the last to perform, I'm not going to be mad at the person that is. I'm going to be mad at the person that I got a contract with saying this is what it was, because I don't care what decisions y'all made with this person, what agreement y'all made with this person, this is the agreement y'all made with me. He couldn't make that decision on his own to do that. So I think that's where, right or wrong, I don't know. Like, I mean, friends or not, money is money. So I don't know if DL went to the people and said, look, like, I need to be the headliner, I want more money. Their response should have been, no, we've already made this agreement with Mo, so this is what it is. And then maybe he would have chose to back out. Who knows? If that's the case, so what? Because he hasn't done all her shows.
Right.
So
and he's turned down the last 4 times to work with her. This one particular time, he said he would do it.
Yeah, so that's my whole thing. Like, right or wrong, the fact that they are doing this, going back and forth, is crazy. And I think that he's right in the sense that she should have directed this towards the promoters, towards the people that signed the contract, not towards DL. That to me was like, Mo, come on now.
And I feel the same way, and it's not nothing against Mo, because we saw Monique at a comedy show one time years ago, and
at the
she tore it the fuck down.
Yeah,
like,
and she wasn't the headliner.
No, she wasn't the
headliner.
Steve Harvey was, but Monique tore it down. She was better than Steve Harvey that night. So as a stand-up, she's dope. Her acting skills, I only saw Precious once because I only could see it once because of the whole mean mom.
But she was phenomenal.
She won
an
Oscar for it. Like, she was unfucking believable in that movie. So
it's so real. I sometimes forget that movie wasn't real.
Like, she was the best in that movie. So her acting skills is awesome. Her stand-up skills is awesome. But I guess
and
her
shout out on the weight loss.
Her get-along skills ain't good. And I think it all went to south some years ago with Oprah and Lee Daniels
and Tyler Perry and the whole
Tyler
thing.
Perry, So I think that's where it went south, where people started to say she was difficult and blacklist her and all that shit. But I think there's something behind it.
And my thing is this, for those who don't know, the original blacklisting was after she did Precious. Then they wanted her to like go on this media tour to promote it. But from what she said, she would be responsible for paying for like her flight and stuff like that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that like the quote unquote norm for actors to do? But she just felt like,
because I think you get it on the back end,
right? Because the more promoting you do, the more money there's, right?
So if you're helping with that, raising the number, then you would get more on the back end. But if you're not helping promote the movie because you're hearing Oscar buzz, then no, that's just arrogance.
Yeah, it's one of them things where
and
it's
she said that the European tour that they wanted her to go on would be like $50,000 out of her pocket. But it's almost like, okay, pay for this $50,000 and you may get a few million on the back end.
It's kind of, and not only that, who knows what other opportunities it may bring for you. Our boy Charlemagne was just saying, him being presented in the Hollywood Reporter as one of the top people in media,
top
35 people in media, the opportunities that have been presented to him, because let's face it, white America is not always aware of who's the it person in pop culture. So no matter how big of a star you are amongst our people, the bigger people that might be writing the checks, they don't really know you until you show up in their world. Hence, a
Hollywood
media
reporter.
tour.
Yeah.
Hence Hollywood reporter. Hence you walking the red carpet in London. You doing the red carpet in New York City and LA. Also all well and good, but until that exposure is what opens the door for you. Now it's hard to tell somebody, oh, spend this $50,000. You gonna get it back on the back end, when I don't want to count her dollars. Maybe she didn't have it. Maybe she just felt like that wasn't right. But if it's not like you are the first person to be asked to do this, so it ain't like, oh, they discriminating against the black woman. You just wanted to change the system. I get it. But at the same time, like, you can't always be the rah, 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 rah voice, because this is what then happens. 50 Cent got her back, though. He said she gonna be on BMF. Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I gotta finish that so I can be prepared for the next season.
I think she's pretty fucking good. I just don't think, like, you gotta try to get along with people. I don't know. You just gotta try. I mean, if you can't, you can't, but at least you gotta try. And when you have a strike with 7, 8 people, you are the common denominator, and, probably should start looking at you.
Yeah. So I know this is coming to the end of the episode. I would just say to y'all, one, thank you for your continued support for my husband and myself. I'm a part of the show too, but for A2TP podcast, I do want to just challenge all of our viewers. If you are a parent or a child, just try to be the best that you can. Loyalty, protection, all of those things are paramount in relationships. And sometimes not all relationships can be worked out. And I will say to you, if you have any type of relationship, no matter what society says that it should be or you should be doing, protect your peace. You can't allow anybody to allow you to sacrifice that, because at the end of the day, you got to put your oxygen mask on first. You have to be okay, or else you won't be okay. So I just say that to everybody.
Sit with that, what she said. A2TP podcast, episode 73. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch us on upbringing.com, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Twitter, and Instagram. All those platforms, you can see our faces. A2TP podcast, episode 73. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.